Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again. So first I want to ask, how do you guys like the new setup? I love it and it makes me, in the mood to do these things. I kind of love this kind of setup,
Beautiful.
So in today's video, since this channel is all about making ourselves better and changing ourselves, well, this is why I made this channel, is for to help myself and everyone else around me to make themselves better if that's what they're looking for. So today I wanted to share with you guys this thing that I've been reading. I read this book several times before I jumped into talking to you and sharing it with you guys, because I wanted to apply it for myself as well. And this book is actually on Audible, and this is not sponsored, by the way. So the book is called How to Talk So Kids Will Listen, and Listen So Kids Will Talk. And this doesn't apply to just kids. This applies to everyone around us and your spouses especially, or just talking better at home. So that's the one thing I want to change in our household, in this family, and even for myself. I just want to talk better, how to practice talking so I can start expressing my feelings, and so people can express their feelings to me as well, and so I would not be suppressing my kids' feelings. Because like I said on my other video, how childhood affects your adulthood, like I mentioned over there that my feelings were suppressed back then when I was little, and this is the one thing that I really want to change, is to I don't want to apply the things that I experienced before with my kids. So that's why I've been learning to talk better so my kids will listen, and so my spouse will listen, and stuff like that. And it's not just me that's changing, it's everybody else here at home as well. So that's why I wanted to share this with you guys, because it's really good to start learning how to talk to our kids, and not just our kids but our spouses as well. So if you guys want to see that, we're going to be talking about how to talk so people will listen to us. Just keep on watching. So first, the number one thing that we should be avoiding so we can start talking better so they can listen is denial. Denial someone's feeling. Like for example, if our kid tells us like, "Oh mommy, I'm hot," or "I'm tired," and the first response that we usually say to them is like, "Oh, you're not tired, you're just bored," like you replace it with something else, so that's kind of like, no, I told you I'm hot. If someone's telling you that they're hot or like they're tired and you just deny their feeling, what would you feel? So number two is philosophical response. Like for example, like I'm telling you how I'm feeling and you're gonna be like,
"Oh, life is like that."
Well, what can you do? Something like that. And that's the one thing that I kind of really hate to feel after expressing my feeling, and you're gonna respond to me like that. So I don't know, what do you guys think? So yeah, that's the one thing that we should be avoiding as well, is the philosophical response. And number three is giving advice. Everyone is good at this. I guess that's what the first thing that we're so used to do, is giving advice, especially to your kids or to anyone in general. You stop their decision making, you stop like their thought process of what they should be doing. We shouldn't give advice until in the end. Let them think of what's the good way. Let them decide on their own before we really give our own opinion. Like giving advice, like for example, maybe like I'll give you an example. Maybe like for example, your boss is so mad at you and you're so upset at your boss even though you did something good, and he didn't see that or she didn't see that, and then you express your feelings to your friend, and your friend will be like, "Oh, maybe next time you should do this and that, so maybe next time he wouldn't get mad at you." Like, no, that's the one thing that we should be avoiding, is just giving advice. Maybe hear out that person first before we give an advice. We hold on to that first. So number four, questions. For example, let's talk about the boss thing, right? For example, you were already upset, like I said earlier, and you're gonna question that person by saying like, oh, are you sure that you did this, or why don't you just do this, or like, why didn't you do this, stuff like that, like questioning like about the situation. That's the one thing that will just make that person feel a lot worse about themselves, you know. So that's the one thing that we should also be avoiding, to talk better, to have a better communication and conversation with your family. Number 5 is the defense of the other person. Okay, so me and my husband just had this problem. It was a big argument that one time because of this thing. So the situation was, I was upset of what's going on around me at the moment, because you know, like, I don't want to give the whole detail situation of what happened, but for example, like that one night was really just, I just had a baby, and you know, and what's going on around us, which is the COVID and stuff like that. I was really depressed, and I was just upset about my situation, and I wasn't upset about the people that was helping us. And my husband, I was expressing to him how I'm feeling, and all he did, instead of like giving me his ears, you know, and really being empathetic to me, the thing that he just said was, he was defending the people instead of like listening to me. But in reality, I wasn't really mad of those people, I was just mad of the situation. So defending other people while that person is already upset would just make the conversation like go wild. Like, it will just turn into an argument. I don't know if you get what I mean. I hope I'm telling you guys the message correctly. So number 6 is feeling pity. Feeling pity, like for example, like you're expressing your feelings to someone else, right? And then my response to you would be like,
oh, poor you, I could cry.
Like, you know, like something like that. Like, that would be so annoying if I'm already expressing my feelings to you and you're gonna respond to me like that, you know? So that would just make the situation worse as well, according to the book. And that is true. I don't know if what you guys think. And number 7, amateur psychoanalysis. So this one is bringing up your past. You're psychoanalyzing that person. Like for example, like the boss thing again, right? That boss that you have yelled at you because you didn't finish the deadline or something like that, right? And the response of the person that you're telling your feelings to would be like, oh, are you sure you're not mad at your boss because, you know, he or she reminds them of your mom or your dad because of how they were to you back then in the past. It's unnecessary to say these things, you know. It will just ruin someone's feelings and it will just suppress their feelings. So those are the things that we should be avoiding. And you might ask, okay, so how should we respond to people when they're telling us their feelings? And the one thing that the book was saying, and I totally agree, is to be empathetic to them, putting yourself in their shoes. And especially with kids, like not just kids but for everyone, we should really listen with our full attention before we respond. We have to think first before we say something, you know. So that's the one thing that could avoid all these things, so we can avoid suppressing other people's feeling and being empathetic, putting ourselves in their shoes. I want to give an example for kids as well. Like for example, your kid is throwing a tantrum, or like not literally throwing a tantrum but feeling in a certain way, and he's saying that, oh, I'm mad at my sister, this and that, like she broke my thing. And then instead of saying like, are you sure you're not the one that broke it, instead of saying that, you answer it with a word. Like for example, oh, I see. So those words that you're saying, like, oh, I see, like it will make that kid or your kid to express their feelings to you. It will make them think for themselves, and they will express it to you instead of like stopping their feelings by saying like,
oh, are you sure you're not the one that broke it?
And the other thing that we should be doing is giving a name to their feeling. Like for example, something happened at school and he came home or she came home saying like, oh, my teacher yelled at me in class because she's saying that I'm slow with my test. So you're gonna be like, you're gonna give a name to what he's feeling, like, oh, I know you're upset, this and that, instead of saying like, oh, maybe next time you should do it faster then, like, you know, something like that, like being sarcastic. And so with young kids especially too, like I'm really learning this at home, especially with my kids, because he's 4 and it's really tough, you know. So you give them their wishes. Like for example, he was throwing a tantrum, right? Because, you know, like, oh, like he wants something, like for example a bike, like he really wants this bike, you know, but then you can't buy it at the moment. So your response would be, or what you can do in that situation, is you give them their wishes, you know. So like for example, you could just tell them like, oh, I wish I could do this, I wish I could buy you this right away, I wish I can be a Santa Claus, that I can just give it to you right away, you know. So in this way they're feeling like you really care, you know. So those are some of the things that we could be doing instead of like doing all the bad things that I just mentioned from the beginning. So yeah, I really want to apply this for myself, for my family. And it's not just me that's trying to change or applying these things, my husband as well. And it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because both of us needs changing, you know. But the good thing about it is like we remind each other, like for example, we say something wrong or we respond something wrong, we kind of like, you know, hey, you did something wrong, like, or like, don't say that, you're correct. We're correcting each other. That's the good thing about it. But it's just that we both need changing so our kids can copy us, and so that when they grow up they know how to talk and they will know how to listen to others. And so like when they grow up, they can, their feelings are not suppressed, not like my feelings when I was young. And I'm really not pro at this, at talking. That's the one thing I want to change, is the way I deliver my message. I know it's still kind of confusing because I confuse myself. But I wish, not I wish, but I will get better and I will do better with delivering my message to you guys. So yeah, if you guys have any other ideas for me or tips for me delivering message, you guys can leave that link down below or give me some tips down below in the comments. Okay, so yeah, that's the one thing that I want to change and apply for myself. And yeah, since this channel, like I said from the beginning, is all about changing and making ourselves better and motivational videos, if you guys did get something out of this video, please don't forget to like that button and subscribe. It really helps my channel, and smash that bell notification. It really helps my channel, and it will, you guys will get all the latest videos right in your inbox. Thank you so much. Bye bye.